Start video transmission. Close this. Sign into chat. What is this? Ah, wait, okay. I see. Interesting. Let's go back to the dashboard. Editor. Yeah, editor. Yep, okay. I need to check my own stream, not string. Yes, okay. I will check with the headphones. We need a little bit of push. Okay, add a little bit of vocals, a couple of dBs, and talk loud, right? I checked almost everything. Okay, if anyone is here, say hi. Okay, looks like it's okay. Now we are ready. So hello everyone. Today you're gonna learn how to restring and set up your guitar. I need to talk a little bit loud, but besides that everything is looking fine. So let me move the guitar a little bit so you will see everything. I'm gonna give a couple of details before I start. So first of all, this is PRS SE SVN Holcomb, and this is the walnut model from 2021, and it doesn't have locking tuners unless you get from PRS and install it yourself. So we will check the PRS method together since we don't have the locking tuners. At least I don't have it right now, but I'm gonna get them soon because it actually makes everything, you know, go faster with the, you know, the setup process, restring process. Most of the time you don't have to use these oils if you're changing it every, I don't know, 2 weeks, a month maybe. But if you do it every 4, 5, 6 months, I'm not talking about restring, by the way, I'm talking about the full setup, then you need to be aware of certain stuff. So why I gave the information of the model, because this walnut model is completely satin, and let me show it to the camera like this. Maybe I can move it a little bit if it's possible. This is completely satin, and this is a very rare wood, the fretboard I mean, and because of that, normally if it's satin you're not putting anything on it. So normally if I am working on setting up any other guitar like my custom 24, what we have here, yeah, this one, guitar polish and cleaner. So I'm not gonna use that because I shouldn't because it's satin, and it is same for this body gloss. Since it's not, you know, gloss finish or whatever, I cannot use this cream of Carnauba from Dunlop. Normally I am using PRS products like this one. This is the fretboard conditioner. Again, I'm not gonna use it because I used it on the last time, and since it's kind of a rare wood, I think it was African ebony or something like that, and probably it's not a good idea to do it every month. Normally when you are using this conditioner, it fills up the cracks and cause a very small amount of inflation, which is good, but if you use it every single time, it's not gonna give you any benefits. So before I give you more details, since I don't have any mods, I have to check my own sound. Okay, I can hear myself, and I'm assuming that you're hearing me. So let's continue. So what we are going to do, actually, what do we need to do a full setup? For me, what we need is, of course, since we're going to change the strings, I'm going to use 1059 from Elixir. I should hold it like this, right? But it's kind of too, it's hard to read for you, right? It's 1059, basically. It's Elixir OptiWeb. Normally I'm using 8-string sets. This is 1084. And I'm not going to use this one right now because I have a certain song, a cover. It's an Epica cover, and it's done in standard 7-string, so it's standard B or it's drop A. I have to remember it. I think it was B. So I am using lighter strings. Normally I do gent, and I need a little bit higher gauge because it's not multi-scale, and I go really low. The normal tuning I'm using is drop F sharp or drop G, but in this case we have to go to drop A. So that's why I have to set up everything. I have to set up the whole action, the whole, oh damn, when it's live stream I am losing all the details and all the terms. We're gonna check the neck for setting up. That's the most important thing because the tension will be different compared to my 8-string set. And of course the saddles for action, and my laundry is done. For action, and most importantly the intonation. So we will need a capo for checking the whole neck, because we're gonna put it in the first fret, and we're gonna check it here in the 8-string. So the second thing, to cut the strings you need a cutter. This is kind of, you know, everyone knows this. Winder, just because I do not have locking tuner yet. If I have it, all I need to do is just, you know, make it low a little bit, and after that I will just immediately unlock. I need to change the tab, otherwise I'm checking myself. We need this Allen key and a couple of small Allen stuff for setting the neck, plus checking the actions. These are actually from PRS, and this one is just for PRS, so I have to use it, but the other ones are actually not fitting, so I have a couple more here for checking the action. And most importantly, this feelers gauge. This is very important, guys, because if you want to do a good setup, you definitely need this. I got this one from AliExpress. It's not even a high quality thing, but I trust that they actually did a good job. I hope so. And if not, it means that I'm using a different setup than I need to do. But when we finish everything, it means that I'm gonna play and I'm gonna check if everything is okay or not. So after these details, I think we can start. So as you can imagine, we can start by removing the strings, and for this I have to do this. For lower strings it's kind of easy, and most importantly I have this winder. Let me move this a little bit more. So it's gonna be a little bit time consuming, but in the meantime you can ask some questions. Since it's live stream, I cannot ask you to go to a, you know, certain place or section in a video, but still it gives us enough time for you can ask some questions to me. So I always forget the way, the rotation, so I have to check myself. It is a cumbersome process, but the most important thing that I maybe need to mention is that this stringing part is something that you cannot escape. You have to do it no matter how, what happens. When you need to record something, you have to change the string, because bright strings are very important for us to, fresh and bright, of course. Fresh and bright strings are very important for us to do all of this stuff as good as possible. And when it's not fresh, you're basically messed up your tracking. So let me check everything. And I have to do a little bit more push here. So please say hi. I think we have some levers here. What I need to do, since it's a very, this is 8 string, so I really need to cut this. So what I'm going to do is do my best to check, put this thing out of my way. Bigger strings of course create more problems while taking out, and of course it's not helping using an 8 string. This is 74, so as you can see I have to push with my hands and it's not working. Yeah, maybe the other way around will be helpful, or just for the live stream sake I can do this. So of course have a bag with you, since I forgot it, I will just put it in there. We're gonna do the exact same thing for this one. This is not a Floyd Rose, by the way, you'll probably know. This is also not called hardtail. I always forget the terms when it's live stream, but yeah, it's not a floating bridge, so that's why I don't have to worry about cutting these strings and losing the tension immediately. That's not even a concern for us at the moment. So we are going to take this string as well, and we're gonna cut the other ones as well to save some time, right? And oh yeah, in the meantime, one important detail, I'm doing full setup because of one thing. I'm changing the gauge. Since I was using the 8 string set and I'm using now a 7 string regular set, what I need to do here is, let me put it here, what I need here is a full setup, because the whole action, the whole tension of each string will change. It's gonna affect the neck, it's gonna affect the feeling, it's gonna affect the action and everything that you can imagine. That's not something we want, of course. I'm checking these ones, these are also loose, so I can just cut all of them. Please remind me in the next live stream I will cut them and start the stream. And please say hi if you're here. In the meantime, yeah, I'm gonna take these things out as well. Yeah, of course you're gonna give me problems because you are the smallest gauge. If I can hold it, yeah, okay, now it works. Now let's take the rest of the strings here. BC Reach 581, hello, welcome to the stream. Now what I'm gonna do, hello Tommy, welcome to the stream. Oh wait, I need to move the camera a little bit. Yeah, okay, now let me show you the back. By the way, this is this one is periphery signs. So I'm gonna take the strings from here and take all of them out. That's the part everyone knows, so I am not thinking of showing it in full detail. I hope you forgive me for that. Yeah, let's take everything out and put it back. Now what I'm going to do, just not to hurt myself, that's the most important part. This is the string, the whole set actually, the old ones, and I will just create a small knot. It's not a good knot, by the way, but still it's gonna work for us because I don't want to hurt myself. Okay, maybe one more and it's gonna work fine. I have to fight for it a little bit, but still. I wish I had 2 cameras so I could show you the whole struggle. Welcome Ekin, my bro from another city. Welcome to the stream. Now, as you can see, we don't have any strings here, no strings attached. Small joke. One thing, again, since it's satin, I'm not going to use the guitar cleaner and polisher. This is forbidden. If it's high gloss, just use it, it's okay. But if it's satin, never do it. This won't be used as well because this is just for high gloss finish. I'm also putting it there, but we have the PRS fretboard conditioner, if I can talk. We can use this one. So I actually don't want to do it. Maybe I should just show it to you because I did a Restring like a month ago, maybe just a week more, and what happened was I already used the fretboard conditioner, and this is a rare wood, so that's why most of the time I'm not using it too much. It's not helping, if you're asking. Oh wait, by the way, I forgot one string here. I acted like it's a 6th string, so of course I'm gonna forget it. Let me create a knot from this as well. So if you do this, you don't hurt yourself. Okay, let's continue. I'm gonna clean the guitar. This is of course another boring but very important process because after you put the strings, you won't be able to clean them as easy as possible. So I will just take all the dust away. As I mentioned, there is no cleaner solution for satin as far as I know. Why don't you use Domestos for your keyboard? Dude, I don't know. I asked Paul and he said Domestos may hurt just a little bit on these nickel frets. If it's stainless steel, you can use Domestos, no worries. Yeah, here's Ekin right there for you. Let's clean the fretboard. Another place where we cannot do a full access. By the way, in the future I really want to replace these nickel frets to the stainless steel, but this is a guitar that is made in 2021 and I am waiting a little bit more before I spend unnecessary money. It's not gonna be unnecessary because I like the brightness of stainless steel, plus I don't have to maintain the frets after that, but still. So just to show it to you, and maybe it's kind of required, just maybe, I will put the fretboard conditioner and we're gonna wait just a little bit. So in the meantime, maybe I can talk about the other guitars and we can wait a couple minutes because this fretboard conditioner is not like a magical solution, like it's not gonna be consumed in 5 seconds. So what I do is I take very small amount, don't be generous about it because it's a very powerful and dense solution. So, and never apply onto the fretboard, just apply a couple drops. Whoa, that's even more. And just to clean the opening, this much is enough. I can maybe create some comparison like this with my pick. So let's start to apply a solution. What I do a full swipe first, so we don't get a lot of lemon oil here and small amount of here. I'm trying to even it as even as possible, at least. So normally with the nickel threads and all, it creates very weird feeling, but after applying everything, what you need to do, since it's also doing a very small amount of cleaning, you will go on each thread and you are going to apply this with a small amount of rubbing. You gotta do it, because if you want to apply it well and also gets the excess amount, you need this. And we are already halfway here, and I have to be careful not to touch to the body with the lemon oil, because I don't want this dark spots. It's kind of important for me, because I like the aesthetics of this Holcomb. Okay, so what I do, I will never ever use that part of again. By the way, this is I got this from Thomann. This is a very big cloth, and I use 4 edges for different purposes. One for the lemon oil, so the fretboard conditioner I mean. One for the high gloss fixer, one for the cleaning purposes, and the other one is without any solution, just cleaning the guitar. So in the meantime, since this has to be here with a couple of minutes, by the way, I should take these dust, otherwise it's gonna be sticky. Yeah. By the way, the second thing I do, it's not necessary for you, it's just my psychological stupid behavior. I clean these nickel threads because I don't like to put lemon oil on them, like this small moments to get this excess not olive oil, we are not cooking, sorry, lemon oil. So okay, now I'm gonna put this in my rack, since you don't see me. What I need to do is to put my Strenberg to the rack so I can access this guitar. So I'll take the cable off, and maybe I can talk about the Strenberg, by the way. No, this is actually quite irrelevant, so maybe I should talk about the other Holcomb, so you will get the whole idea. Maybe you have the other version. This is what happens when you don't have a nice plan about the live stream. Just a second. So this is the other Holcomb. I'm not going to change the strings for this one yet. This is set to drop C, and I'm actually using 7-string set for 6-string guitar, because I'm ditching the 6th string and I have a bigger bigger gauge on the last one, because I'm playing periphery and I have to go as low as G, as low as A, and it's not helping me in any way. Believe me, I tried a lot of stuff, but it's not working. And since it's not multi-scale, I have to get rid of this stupidly low tension in a low string. We need high tension in a low string, so it has to create this even low note. Hard to explain. Anyway, let's continue again. What I want to talk about is that this one is the newest version. This is the Blue Burst Holcomb, and what we have here is a high gloss guitar. So I'm gonna make a live stream for this high gloss version. No worries, we're gonna restring and set up this one as well. But the most important thing to talk about here, since this is high gloss, we can use this cleaning condition Dunlop 65. They're both called 65. That's stupid. Anyway, we're gonna use this guitar cleaner and polisher. We can, because this is high gloss. And we're gonna continue with this 65 body gloss Dunlop, and that's the most important part. The rest is completely the same. You're just gonna take out the strings, put the clean strings after cleaning and maintaining the fretboard, and you're gonna do the proper setup. Let's continue. I think we gave enough time for it to, you know, consume the conditioner. Okay, we are back with the OG Holcomb. That's funny. I wish the original Mark Holcomb could watch that too. Yeah. Now, I'm not gonna touch too much to fretboard because I want to give a couple more minutes at least for it to consume everything. So what we will do, since I already cleaned all the dust and stuff on the front, which is most of the time is not accessible since we have strings. You can always clean the back, but for the front you have to unstring. So I'm gonna put this 8 string set away just not to confuse you, and I'm gonna take this thing out. So what we have, this is kind of a beginner thing, you know, but still maybe it's important to talk about. There are 2 things that you need to understand when you're putting the new string. The first one is the order, but since this is not a floating bridge, most of the time it's not gonna be affected. If it's a floating bridge, of course what you can do is start with the 6th string, go to 1 and go back and forth. By the way, I have a nut sauce for the nuts, but I forgot it. Maybe we can apply it. Just a second, please. I need to check it. It's quite inaccessible, I think, and I didn't think about using it. So probably I won't be able to bring it for the stream. Sorry. So yeah, let's continue. What I want to do, what I always do here, start from the small gauge, like in the order, and go to high, because again, this is not a floating bridge and it's not going to be affected too much. So yeah, by the way, I love elixirs because it's always good and it lasts much longer than any other brand, unfortunately including PRS. Thanks to them, thanks to Beverly Fowler and Travis Allen, they sent me some strings. They're very nice and bright, but when I am practicing they just get rusty. So they're 100% sounding good and only for the stage kind of strings. But I'm a bedroom musician most of the time, and unless I'm not recording anything new, I'm not changing the strings. So for this reason, we're not using that and we're going to use elixir. So let's talk about the binding. Is it called the binding? No, not. Yeah, we're going to talk about the knots. So I'm using PRS method on a PRS guitar. Yeah, obvious. But it's actually helping a lot. I'm going to talk about the benefits, but let's start with how-tos first. I always create 1 fret. I put 1 fret back just to create some extra for this area. If something happens, I am fixing it. So yeah, the PRS method is basically you're taking this, you're putting it under the put string, the one that you are holding actually, and you're twisting over it and you're doing a small rotation. and after that you actually created a knot. Here normally this is where I mostly mess up because when I do it I have to hold everything like, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit hard like this. Just a couple of seconds, yeah, and I will start to do some rotation. I have to fix this probably all the way, and this is our rotation. I have to make sure, yeah, this is the rotation that we need. And I will take the string winder and start this process. Since this is the small gauge, it's moving well with me and staying under, which is something I was actually intending to do. And I'm gonna hold it a little bit on the bridge side just to make sure it didn't fall off. If it fell off, it's gonna create small amount of extra tension here, and it's not gonna be good for you. Okay, this is good enough. And we have one comment, I have to read it. Every setup has that moment where you remember that there's something you forgot, yeah. And then you can't find it in the work area, then you give up looking for it and realize you're not that oh fuck, there's a small heart. I mean, it's a good thing, but I cannot read it. Just a second, I'm sorry. You're not that plugged in. Oh yeah. This is actually really bad, yeah. For the nut sauce, I can assure you, or myself actually, that you can just tune down, put the string out, and apply the nut sauce. I think you're fine here for so far, and I really hope that I didn't forget anything along the way, because otherwise it would be bad. But yeah, definitely. So normally I cut the string immediately, otherwise it's just creating a mess basically on this area. So after cutting, I change the string. So I'm not tuning or anything, I just need to put everything in here, and after that we will continue. So where's the end? Yep, here. So I'll take the guitar and I'm gonna put it in its place. And we have Felipe here. Welcome, man. How are you? Welcome to the stream. By the way, Felipe is cooking a new banger, a new cover. So definitely check his channel. He is one of the best cover guys that I know. So just check him out. Not now. Don't leave the stream, but don't forget either. So yeah, I put the second string. I'm fine, Felipe. Thanks so much, man. Just came from vacation and ready to make some demos, but in order to do that I have to restring and set up this nice guitar. So after putting the B string, yeah, it's gonna be B string by the way, I am going back by 1 fret and again apply the PRS method, putting it under, creating some tension here, and put it over and do a rotation, and now it's just locked. And after it's locked, you don't have to worry about it at all. And again, I have to remember what is the tuning way. So if I do this, I think we did the wrong on this one. I have to change the tuning with this. It's kind of a curse. You always forget the rotation. Let me finish this one and we're gonna check it. Maybe and high likely BC Reach 581 is completely correct and I forgot the tuning way. Let's check it. Yeah, it's actually quite the opposite. So it's not good for me, but yeah, we have to do it, right? I'm going to change. Yeah, let me show it to you. I did something wrong. The rotation of this one is wrong. so we're gonna rotate the other way around. I can only hope that it's not gonna change anything for us, but I have a lot of strings with me, so don't worry, I can probably fix everything. The whole mess I did here, probably it's possible to fix it, unless the whole thing just goes in a different way. Yeah, okay, I am retuning it. Probably it's gonna create a small mess, but I hope it's not gonna affect my stability with the string. If it does, I have to restring it. If it doesn't, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, okay, now as you can see, it's just working fine, and we can continue with the X string. Ah, okay, it didn't work. Okay, I need to put it again. Ah, it's okay, I have a lot of strings, but I need just 1 second from you. I always forget to put the truss would cover. Yeah. I do that too. I totally do that too. I will ask 1 second because I got my strings. Yep, I have a lot of 64s here, a lot of 46, a lot of backups, not this one, and probably it's gonna be interesting for us, at least for me, because there has to be a nice backup. Yep, this is a this is a backup 10, as you can see. Yeah, I'm going to use that. The issue is this is nano web, this is not OptiWeb, but they both anti-rust and they have different qualities. I'm not quite sure if it's gonna affect my sound. At least we can try it. So maybe I should put these one back. And let's continue. We have a small issue. It actually never happened to me, but of course this is a live stream. Live stream without problems, it's not a live stream, it's recording. Let me put the string here and we're gonna take it again. Whoops, sorry, I accidentally hit the mic. We're gonna move our tuner and we're gonna put it back. We're gonna make sure everything is okay with the bridge. We move a little bit back. We apply the PRS method, going over, sorry, going under, then going over, then create a rotation and lock as a knot. So yeah, I'm gonna stop here and again make sure that my movement is completely correct, otherwise I'm gonna waste another string. So what we do is go to the normal, yeah, we go like we are tuning, and this is our movement, and I'm gonna use the string winder because especially in the low gauge you have to move a lot. In the meantime, please, if you have any questions about PRS, about guitars, about setting up, we can talk about it. So yeah, before going to the G string, is it working fine? Yeah, but I need to move it a little bit more. Yep, it's working. We're gonna cut these strings, and normally I don't have any string breaks because I'm using 10s and they're really hard to break. I know a lot of people using 9s or 8s. It's not for me because I had 9s. It's really easy to bend and all, but I really don't like it. But if you know Helena Pandora from Instagram, YouTube, or any other place, actually, she's quite active everywhere. she told me that I have to put 9s to have a solid sound, and I have to go as low as possible with the gauge. Helena was using 8s and she changed it to 9s, and I will definitely get a couple of 9s just for her. I want to experiment what she said. That's kind of important for me because she's a really good artist. But yeah, we are checking, we are moving here, we make sure that it's in the nut in the right place. We go back a little bit. Now we're gonna apply the PRS method. Actually, let me move it a little bit more. It's not gonna be good for me. Maybe I can, no, I can also do something like this. Sorry. PRS method, again, doing it for the 4th time. We go under from outside, we lock, we go over and lock, we rotate, and now you can put it. You don't have to touch it anymore. Now it's locked, and when the string is locked and it's not moving in this area, it means that it's not gonna lose its stability. And that's why we are doing these small knots on this area. If you don't do it, maybe it's gonna be okay for you, but it changes from guitar to guitar. So especially with good guitar like this, I actually like this one a lot. It should be fine, but in every Restring it takes maybe 5 seconds to do it. So why you should bother with your tuning stability when you can just fix it right away? Yeah, this one is also done. Since it's a 7 string and I break one, it's gonna take a couple of minutes more. I will do my best to not talk too much unless you have some question. I'm also trying to entertain you in this process because it's kind of a boring one. Let's put the 4th string. And the coolest thing in the world, having periphery signs on a periphery guitar. I really like it. Let's continue. I have to make sure that you are seeing everything, so I will move it. Yeah, I'm putting this one. I have to make sure that the hole of the tuner is matching. Then I have to put it, then I'm gonna move it like this. Actually, what we can do is moving like this. Okay, it looks okay for me. Then I move a little bit back, and since PRS method suggests that you have to move from outside, I have to move like this. Let me change the camera angle, at least as far as I can do it. I have this stupid camera and it's not staying in the original position that it should. Now it's not working like this. Okay, then we have to do it from the hard way. We're gonna move the guitar. Just one more second. Yeah, okay. Now we are good. We do it from the outside to inside. Let me move it a little bit back, then put it under, then lock it by pulling it, then go over and lock it, then rotate. When you do this extra rotation, you basically make sure that it's gonna be it's gonna stay over. That's actually the whole joke about it. And normally I tune it like this, so I need to take the winder and I have to move this thing. Tune it, tune it, tune it. Is it still under? Yeah, maybe I should do it from here. Yeah, it's much better. And since it's the low string, it's beautiful, just happening right away. Then I need to do it with the next one, 36, and this is the 5th string, then 46 for the 6th string, and 59 for the 7, and we're gonna set it up for standard tuning. I know it's not gent, it's not periphery at all, but I have to do it for my own Epica cover, so it's gonna be a full remake. I am doing my best to do it as good as possible, so for this thing we gotta set it up very well. Okay, I'm making sure everything is okay on the bridge side. I'm coming here, I'm putting back a little bit from this area, I lock it, I go over, I lock it again, I do a small rotation, and I leave it. Now it's locked, and I make sure that I am going to turn it in the right direction. Of course, with the lower strings, since they are higher in the gauge, you gotta make sure that it's gonna stay locked, but it's not gonna cause any problem. So I have to be a little bit more careful. I think if I do it like this and leave it, probably it's not gonna be a problem for me. Please, please, please. Yeah, okay. It's under. Nice. And now I'm gonna cut these strings because I don't want them. I cannot play them. And the next one is 46 for the 6th string. Kind of obvious, I guess. After some point, I'm thinking that our viewers are not beginners, at least intermediates. Maybe you tried to change your string once or twice. I don't know, but still, if it's for the first time, this boring changing string process will be useful for you. And if not, in a couple of minutes, hopefully, we are gonna start setting up the whole guitar. And I know I didn't took out the truss rod, but I can do it, so no worries. I'm checking the bridge. I'm moving here. I'm pulling it back. I'm using PRS method to lock the string, and I'm turning to make sure, and I'm leaving it because it's already locked. Then I continue. It has to be down. It's going out, but it's still locked, so we are fine, hopefully. And this one done too. The next one is cutting this one because we don't have enough space for the 7th string, which is 59. If I put this one too, we can start our setting up process. And that will be very important for you. Probably you are going to luthier not because you need to change your strings, but you have to stop that stupid buzzing, right? Now I'm putting this one, checking the bridge, coming here, putting back. This one actually does not require the PRS method because it's big enough to create enough fraction, but still, when you do it, it's not gonna hurt. And I'm not creating too much space for this, so whoops, put it back, yeah, and almost done. Okay, so I'm gonna move this out and cut the last string. Okay, now what I need to do is clean this area, because if you're gonna do anything, we gotta do it well, right? I'm gonna move this one. Again, let's start with the things that we need. A capo for setting the neck. A feelers gauge, again, for setting the neck. My PRS stuff, let me open it. This one is a USA custom 24 Allen key, so we're not gonna use that, but I have small Allen keys that I will put it here, and we are going to use SE Allen key for setting the neck. So the first thing, I need a screwdriver, and this USA Allen key already has one on the back, so let me open it. We didn't tune the guitar yet. We're gonna start everything by tuning the guitar first. That is probably obvious to you. Okay, it's moving. Of course, it's probably already obvious to you, but I'm taking out the truss rod cover. Oops, before I sit. Now the most important part. Setting the damn thing. So what I'm going to do is, maybe I should change the angle, because when I'm working on this one, at least for the neck, I think we can keep everything as it is. But yeah, I'm gonna check this thing. I have to put the cable. You are already hearing the tone. Kidding. It's sounding like a stupid landscape. No, soundscape. My bad. So, I don't know how to put the tuner in here. So, what I can do is to say, what is it? Video capture device. No, display capture device, right? I have to click this one, and it says big monitor. Okay, now I'm adding the monitor, right? Let's do it. Okay, now it shows my YouTube. That's great, but we need to see this one. And if I align it well and I open the tuner, let's check. Okay, tuner is also working, and I have to put this in quite small thing to make sure you can also see me and what am I doing right now. Let's do this, at least for now. I'm gonna put this one on the edge, and I'm gonna move it in the stream like this, so you can see everything what I'm doing. And I hope that you're not gonna hear anything extra, because this tuner is actually bypassing the tone, and you're not gonna play anything yet, at least. So let's start by tuning. What I'm going to do is tune the guitar. That's kind of obvious. Whoops, wrong. Let's go to E, but I'm not gonna go right away. This is close. This has to be G. Then we're gonna go, whoa, we have to go to D. Moving along, this one, whoa, close to A. Whoops. By the way, I'm not focusing about tuning right now. I'm just trying to get closer, or maybe over, because we didn't stretch the strings yet. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it from one place and second place, of course, and I'm going to push them in opposite directions to stretch it. My right hand will go forward and my left hand will go backward just to create a lot of tension. This I likely won't break your string. It's all about stretching the string, so when you're tuning it, it's not gonna create any issues. And we're gonna do it maybe 5 times, maybe 6 times. If you have to go, you know, to the stage with an elixir, which will probably last longer, maybe you can do it 10 times. Get closer to your tuning. And you have to go your usual tuning, because for example, if you're going to play on drop G but you set your guitar to standard tuning, or drop A, my bad, it's not gonna work for you, because when you go back to drop G with your regular usual standard tuning setup, it will create buzzing, because all of the strings will lose tension, especially the lowest one, and it's not ideal for us. So you have to make sure that when you're tracking something, when you're making your song or demo or whatever, it has to be in the tuning when you're setting up, and when you're tracking, it has to be the same one. So let's stretch a couple more. By the way, I am stretching a lot, right? I'm not being gentle. If you be gentle, you have to do it maybe 20 times. Do it like you hate these strings. And we're gonna tune again. It's not a long process, but it's important. Sorry, I'm roughly tuning this. That's important. You don't want to tune this, you know, to the point where you should play it, because when you stretch it, it's gonna go lower again, right? Kind of physics here. That's why you have to stretch the strings as much as possible, as high as possible. You gotta apply full force, right? After some point, you see it's not moving too much. It's kind of important to understand what you're gonna do with this. When you're stretching and it's still kind of tuned, kind of very close to tuned, give it a couple more, just to make sure, because you're playing a couple of chords, right? You're tracking your guitar and you hit kind of harder because it's the chorus. What's gonna happen is you're gonna lose it. You're gonna lose the tuning in the middle. So in order to have a little bit more stability in your guitar, just give it a couple more go. You're not gonna regret doing this, right? So let's switch. As you can see, it's still okay for me. The second thing, I'm not using one tuner. I have to put another one because I don't trust one tuner. So I'm gonna put the second one here. You will be able to see it, and they will give different values in the same exact tuning. Kind of close, by the way. I didn't set the neck yet, so I'm going roughly. So now we have the tension that we need. Now we can start the setup process. That's the important part. So take your capo, put it on the first fret. For 6th string, you need, let me open the feelers gauge for you and me. I also have to read it, by the way. It has to be 0.08 minimum for 6th string, but I will go for 0.1. That's inch, by the way. Wait, let me check the metric system. This is 0.25 millimeters. That's what you are aiming for. Since it's a 7th string and I don't want any buzz in the standard tuning, that's what I will do. And if you have an 8th string, maybe you can aim for 0.12. That's what you can do most of the time. And what we should do is to sit. I have to sit first for this because we have to be parallel to the neck here. If you're doing it like this with a different angle, it's not gonna work. We have to be as parallel as possible for this measure to be correct. So I'm gonna take my small recording chair and I'm gonna sit. And on the first fret, let me get the mic closer. On the first fret we have the capo, and this is the 12th fret. You can just check this. Probably this is an American something Hawk on a 12th fret, and we are aiming for 14. With the low string, you should do it for low string most of the time, because feelers gauge will hit the first low string at first. Sorry. You're gonna touch the 14th fret here, and you're gonna check the 7 or 8. I do it with 8. So this is the nickel fret for the 8th fret. And what I'm going to do, in a parallel motion, I'm gonna put my feelers gauge in here. You can use something like a credit card. People always say that. I have a feelers gauge. I got it from AliExpress. I'm not quite sure about if these measurements are correct, but you can get a really nice one on Thomann or Sweetwater, depends on where you are, or any other place, of course. But what I'm going to do is I push the 14 and I'm going to, in a parallel motion, put my feelers gauge here. So what I can experience is it's a nice match, which is kind of interesting because I was using it on Drop G before. So let me sit and make sure that everything is work when I see it here. There's a small, very small, yeah, I can feel it. It's perfect, but I will I will talk about what you need to do if you experience this. Let me talk about it for you. It's actually kind of very well set up. It's kind of interesting for me as well. So you're gonna put your first fret, the capo. Then you're gonna touch the 14th string. You're gonna get your feelers gauge. For 7th string, I'm aiming for 0.1 inch equals to 0.25 millimeters. If it's a 6th string guitar like my Custom 24 or my 6th string Holcomb, I'm aiming for 0.08 inches, which is, I have no idea, I have to check the millimeter level of this. It is exactly 0.2 millimeters. So you check your feelers gauge by touching the 14th fret, and you check if you're feeling the gauge. If you feel a very small amount of fraction, it means that you're actually feeling it. But if you cannot put it, if you have to force this feelers gauge into the 8th fret here, I can just, you know, slide it very easily, right? If you have a problem putting it in, it means that you have to relieve the tension a little bit. And in order to do that, you have to take this Allen key and you have to go this way. You can remember it as, if you need relief, go to the higher string. If you need tension, you have to go to lower string. You can remember it like this. So if I had any problems, if my feelers gauge is not fitting, I have to go to the higher strings like this. On the other way around, if you have a lot of empty areas, it means that you need to create more tension and bend this to this way. So you have to go to the higher strings. In order to do that, I can put a little bit here, just a little bit. And when you do it, you're gonna wait a little. You can hit the neck a little bit in different directions. It's gonna work fine, and you have to wait a couple, maybe minutes, but it's not like that, you know. These truss rods, there are a lot of designs for this. Some of them are one-way, some of them are two-way. PRS uses two-way, and when you're using two-way truss rod, meaning I think it has two different ends, so it is acting much faster than the one-way truss rod. You will probably see your result of the truss rod setup in maybe 1 minute or two. But what you can do is hit like this, and you will activate basically the truss rod and the small fractions of movement. So yeah, again, what you need to do after that, put your capo on the first fret, touch the 14th fret, take your feelers gauge 0.1 inch for this guitar and for my setup, and I'm trying to feel it. And if it's sliding freely, you have to create tension. So go to lower strings here. That is the goal. And in my case, I moved it just a little bit too much, so I will try to, yeah, I will try to move it just a little bit for myself. So in my perspective and my setup, it worked. So in your case, if you again if you have this feeler gauge moving freely, you will go to the lower strings. If you have a lot of tension and if you cannot put this feelers gauge, you feel a lot of fraction happening, it's not fitting in, then you have to go to the higher strings like this. That's the basis of this setup. And after doing this, not this, it's this. after doing this, you're gonna tune your guitar again. Because these strings are new, we stretch them. But still. As you can see, two different tuners act differently. That's why I'm using two tuners. And when I use a lot of attack, it goes very sharp. So sometimes, especially for these setups, I will trust Logic's tuner here, because I know for a fact that Neuro's tuner is not working well for me. I always have a problem with them. Not as a company, I love them, but I mean, otherwise I wouldn't use it. So yeah, right now, by the way, this is the tone. This is a really nice tone, but you know, you're gonna hear it at the end. But of course, you're gonna hear it later. Right now, we did the truss rod setup. again, you can go back on the live stream after it ends, or if you have any questions about the truss rod, you can just ask it to me. I will answer right away. The second thing what we need to do, we did the truss rod and we set up the guitar. So the next step is checking the action. Action changes intonation. Truss rod changes intonation. If you change the setup, sorry, the tuning that you have, it changes the intonation. So intonation will be the last part. And the second part of the setup is the action. So for this, I have to get my ruler because I don't know where is it. I hope it's close. I will ask a couple seconds of yours. It's not here. Definitely not here. Whoops. Yep, I found it. It's here. You cannot see it. It's here. And we are back. I'm back, sorry. So let me talk about it a little bit. This is again something that I bought on AliExpress. So since it's metal and just, you know, someone printed something on this, I think it's not gonna be a big problem with the measurement quality. But you can get a really nice one on Sweetwater, on Thomann. I'm in Germany, so I'm using Thomann. They're really working well. If you are using Thomann, you probably already know that. So you can get this one on your local dealer or Amazon or whatever you are using for shopping. On this one, maybe if I come closer, it's gonna focus. No, I have to use refocus, and if I do that, probably I'm gonna lose the guitar. Sorry. So let me talk about it a little bit. We have inch and metric system measurements here, and what you need to do is actually to aim for a good action. This is normally 125 to 1.5 millimeters on the low string, sorry, high string, and 170, 175 to, depending on your tuning, depending on how hard you are hitting the strings, millimeters. 1.5 to 2 is a good measure to talk about. Maybe in my case, I know for a fact that someone like John Petrucci uses very close to a millimeter because he's shredding a lot and he has a really nice sustain. I don't know why, sorry, how, because if you create longer action, by the nature of and physics of it, you will get more sustain, but at the same time it will be harder to play. So normally what I'm suggesting is to play around a little bit, start with the default values, and if it's too high for you, just change it according to your will. If you're relaxed and comfortable, it's okay. You don't have to follow measures and rules, but other than that, this is the value that normally you should be using. Something like 120 to 1.5 max on the high. 1 to 1.3 is a good one, and for the low, 1.5 is a good start, maybe 175, and you can continue from that. It shouldn't buzz, and we will check the buzz right away with my own playing, and it's gonna be kind of a hard thing to do. I think I should change the camera angle for you to see. Please let me take my tripod. I got it, it was easy, and I'm going to move the camera. It may feel like I'm holding you, but I assure you that it's gonna be a painless process, at least for you. For me, I have to find an angle, and I'm gonna put it back, and I'm gonna check the angle right now. Maybe a little bit far away, like this. Yeah, I think it's a good one. And I'm going to move the tuner. Oh yeah, okay. Let's rearrange everything that we have here. Whoops. That's the wrong thing to move, by the way. It has to be this one. Yeah, I have to move this one and move the camera. And maybe what I can do is basically change the whole structure of doing things. I'm gonna put this here, and I'm gonna take my webcam. It has to be in the front like this, but I'm gonna make myself not slower, smaller actually. And I'm gonna take my webcam like this, and I'm gonna make myself smaller so you will see both the tuner and everything, and also the original tuner here. Okay, not the best thing, but still we can maybe work with this, right? I hope you don't mind. And I'm gonna move myself here so you can see all of the guitar instead of just a part of it. So okay, let's continue. Right now, what we have, by the way, the background is not so important. It's just a project that I have to use to send you my vocal, my voice. And what we can do is right now that I have to move here just a little bit back to show you the whole guitar. So if you have a truss rod issue, most of the time in this area, 1 to 8 fret area, you will have this buzzing issue. Since you can already hear the vocals, whoa, it's not gonna work right. Okay. I'm not getting any buzz. You can test it fret by fret, like with a capo or something. And if you have a problem with the buzzing, it's high likely that you have this back bowl thing, and you have to create some release from your tension in the truss rod. I already talked about it. I'm just gonna make you remember again. You're putting this here. If you have tension, if you have buzzing in this area, move to the higher strings. If you don't have anything like that and you have a lot of empty area and feelers gauge right goes in, you go to the lower string like this. You gotta pull. Yep. I'm gonna put this one here. Now we are checking action, and for the action I have this ruler, and I'm checking which one is millimeter first, otherwise it's gonna be a problem. And it's here. Normally when you're using a PRS guitar and you're checking these settings, because they are sharing everything, you know, when guitar comes, it's already set up by PRS, and they already checked every single measure, and they're also sharing this measurements that they do with the setup in their website, so you can use these if you have any problem. So I'm checking the millimeter part. It starts with 0.25, which is extremely small. It's basically glued to the fretboard, and we have at most 3.5 millimeters, which is a lot. I'm not quite sure what you're using. Is it a violin or something? With the guitar, I'm gonna check the values. I'm expecting 1 to 1.5 for the higher string, and from 1.5 to 2 on the lower strings. It's still a little bit much, but when I hit the string hard, I don't want too much buzz. Small amount of buzz, it's not an issue. It's not a problem. So I'll just take it, and around 12th fret because it's changing, and on the back it says string action at 12th fret. So this measurement is most of the times it's done with you get the ruler and you check this 12th fret action. So yeah, they also put some information here. For example, it says for the 6th string on an electric guitar, this one is 7th string, so I'm not going to think about that, but it says already 1.5 to 2 millimeters, and for the 1st string, which is the highest one, 1 to 1.5. So kind of validated by this thing. So yeah, I'm just going to put it on a higher string, and what I get is actually even less than that. I'm getting like 0.6. Oh wait, sorry, wrong. I have to hold it like this. Yeah. So I'm gonna check, and I see it like it's between 1 to 1.25. So why it's important, and I checked if I can access the notes. It's nice for me, I can access. There are two things to check here. I will talk about it after checking the 7th string. So let's check the 7th string. It's like, let me check what's an over and under. It's 1.6. So yeah, no, sorry, it's 1.75, kind of ish, because the gauge is also changing its value. And when I check the under, I get it like 1.75. The real test is when you hit it, there's no buzz. You see? Sorry, you hear? I hope you hear. I hope so. There's very small amount of when I do it. And when I play it, if there's a buzz, that we can work, then we can work about it. And the buzz is not, sorry, I have to rephrase this. The buzz should be either up to this point or after that. If it's this area, is truss rod. Now we're gonna check again the hand capo trick. When you play it like this, you shouldn't hear a buzz. And I'm hitting a little bit higher because when I chug it, what's gonna happen? It's a different dynamic, right? If you're doing acoustic stuff, you're hitting either slowly or kind of thing, and it's not a big dynamic, it's kind of small dynamic, so you can live with that. But if you're gonna play gent, you shouldn't hear a buzz this area or this area. So I'm not gonna change the action here because it's fine. And I have to again check if there's a buzz after 12. And to my ears, this is open, by the way. I mean, this is an open design, so if it's closed design, probably I'm not gonna hear too much of a thing. But with these headphones, I can hear everything happening acoustically. So when I play it, I'm not hearing any buzz. If there's a buzz, what you need to do is take this Allen key and put it in these two screws. There are two screws here. Let me try to show it to you. Each saddle I has two screws on each side. And if you only increase one of them, you actually change the rotation of the string. most of the time it's unnecessary, and all you need to do is doing a small amount of rotation on the bow side. If you do it clockwise, this screws will go inside and push the saddle upwards, and the action will be higher. You will most of the time and high likely get rid of the buzz. And if the action is too high, you do it counterclockwise, and when you do it counterclockwise, it will go back, the saddle will go down, the string will go down. And if you change any of these settings, you again have to check your tuning like this. You already know that, so that was kind of the most important thing. And again, when I was doing truss rod stuff, and of course when I was stretching the strings, what I did was what is called release, I think, yeah, attack and release. I do release tuning. So when you hit the string, the first value you're gonna see here, it's the attack tuning. Attack is going to create a little bit sharper tone, because if you're hitting like this basically, you will create this sharp effect. And if you're recording something with a lot of hitting and stuff, like a metalcore chorus, you have to do attack tuning. And what I do here, in order to do the intonation and the setup and everything, basically I'm checking release tuning. And most of the time the intonation is either release or attack, because intonation is the most important part for the recording, and considering what you're gonna play, you have to do the tuning according to that. I play a lot of stuff dynamically, and attack tuning helping me much better because I'm playing fast stuff, and most of the time attack part is what people are going to hear, unless there's a huge chord like if I'm playing like this, you might just use as well as the attack tuning. So yeah, that's the important part. And now I'm going to do the intonation. Look at the screen, and what you are going to see is basically the attack tuning. Just check the tuner with the attacks, and I'm going to play two ways. One, I'm going to play just note and the 12th fret. Instead of playing open note, you can also do harmonic and 12th fret. As you can see, this one is good. It's kind of interesting thing. Normally I was expecting, since I'm changing the tuning, it's normally drop F sharp, and now I'm gonna play it standard for Epica. I was expecting that the whole setup will be completely messed up, but it's working well. Kind of interesting. So yeah, I'm checking this one. Let's tune it first. Just get closer to 0. On this intonation setup, even with the luthiers, doing it, not you, there's this error rate of 2 or 3 cents maximum. But if it's more than that, you have to act on it. In my case, when I'm tuning, I'm just checking the last number I see. Is it minus 2 cents? Is it, plus 3 cents or whatever? And I'm see on the neural DSP tuner 0.7 minus. So that's my reference. And as you can see here, when I play multiple times, because we are doing attack tuning here, it's close. So I'm not gonna touch it. But if intonation is really good and I don't have to do it, I will still explain. So let's find a good candidate first. So do our tuning first, play multiple times continuously, around 0.3 to 1. I don't have to move it too much, but let's see. So I will take my screwdriver. On the back there's a screwdriver. And what we need to do this. If it's too sharp, the 12th fret is sharper than the original note, open note, you have to release the string. And if you want to release the string, it means that you have to go back. And in order to go back, you have to do it counterclockwise. So I'll check the G again. It's around 0.3 with this. This is minus. So I have to make it sharper. And in order to make it sharper, I'm going to, in order to pull back, you need to do it clockwise. My bad. I'm going to put it, and very small movements, just do it, I don't know, 3 degrees, 4 degrees, just very small amount, because you're not in a rush and you gotta tune it back. This is not like truss rod thing, you can immediately check. This is around -3, and then I play it's kind of close enough for me to, when I play multiple times I get -1, and open string, actually maybe we can push a little bit more just for education's sake. Then do the retune again. Just make sure that you're hitting the same part of the string. Whoops, I moved it too much. Okay, it's -0.9 at the moment. And it's minus what? Minus 1.7. Okay. Oh, by the way, counterclockwise. Sorry. Sometimes I forget it, which one is the right direction. So I do the setup at least once or maybe twice. And okay, this is full 0. And it is -3, so it's gonna be clockwise now. I'm gonna pull the string back. It's kind of hard to do with what I have right now. This thing is actually good, but it's kind of slippery. I'm gonna go back to the original tuning and play multiple times. It has to be gone, sorry. I'm gonna move it a little bit more and go back. Sorry. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good. Now I'm doing the D string. I just did the D, and D string is good too. Okay. A is around, I have to tune it first. Okay. It's a lot. It's minus 1.5. I'm doing clockwise because it's the movement that I need to do, basically. We do it. By the way, you don't have to be afraid of this. I did it myself every single time for the last 4 years. You need to do is to check PRS videos, other companies tuning videos. It's much closer. Yeah, it's good. Then E-string. After some point, especially on low strings, low guitars, the best thing is to do the... I need to move a little bit, by the way. What you need to do is move it. Yeah, this is much better. You need to move to the harmonic part of it. So if you constantly hit this open string, you're not gonna see consistency, but this is much better in terms of consistency, right? This is -1. Now +2. Let's work on our release now. Wait. It goes to +2. So it's -1. Around -1. I will accept it that way. And this is a lot. So it's -5 on 12. And in open string it's -1 cent. So I have to go with the clockwise action. Now this is the movement I expected, because on my 7 and 6 strings I always go very low, and now I changed the string sets to make it a lot lighter. Still it's too much, right? It's from perfect tuning on open to -5, -6 on the 12th string. So in order to do the intonation, I have to turn it clockwise. Doing a couple runs, and I go back and I check it again. Go back to E, and I check. Play a couple more, because we are doing attack tuning most of the time. It's around 3. I will go a little bit more. And let's continue. Let's go back to E. I'm gonna play a couple more. It's kind of -1 to -2 difference, so it's... Let's do it for the last time. Again, our error rate is 3 cents maximum. Now we'll just that's interesting. Okay. Okay, this is around 2, 3. Okay. Yep, it's nice. And this is the last string we're gonna do, the intonation. Maybe I need to increase the action a little bit. But the tone wise, it's not so bad. And it's time to play it a little bit. I have to mute myself first. It sounds good. The next one is I'm gonna use only one side of the headphone and I'm gonna check if I got a huge buzz or not, and I'm gonna load one of my tones. This one I already put it in my website, so you can download it right away. So let's try it. It sounds okay to me. When I played, I didn't get these buzzes. I can access the frets well, especially when I'm doing a small lead playing kind of thing. I can access the frets well. So yeah, again, just to do a small, list of to-do things when you have to do a restring and setup. What you need to do is take the strings out. That's the easy part. Clean where you cannot access the dust and all. And if it's high gloss, this is a satin finish, on the body and also neck and the back. If you have high glows, what you can do is, this is the chair by the way, you can do Dunlop 65 guitar polish and cleaner if you have high glows. And after that you can apply body glows, again Dunlop 65 cream of carnauba, this one. And as a fretboard conditioner and lemon oil, I am using this PRS fretboard. Whoops, it's not focusing. Can it focus please? Oh, I'm gonna check that in the next live stream, sorry. But yeah, this one, PRS fretboard conditioner, you can search for that in Thomann, Sweetwater, or your dealer of choice. And I applied just a little bit of it to the fretboard. Normally I'm not using it every single time. If you do it, you know, bi-weekly or monthly, it's too much. But if you can do it like 2-3 months, at most 6 months, it's a good thing to apply the fretboard conditioner. Just don't do it too much. It's not a good thing to add it too much. And after that, we put the strings. We know our tuning. This one has to stay in standard tuning. I was playing a lot of periphery, but now I have a cover with my friend. It's an Epica cover, and Epica uses standard B or drop A, and for that reason what we need to do is basically tune to that tuning first, because setup is depending on the tuning. And after that, what we need to do is get the truss rod cover off and put a capo on the first fret, set our feelers gauge, it looks like this, to 0.1 inch equals to 0.25 millimeters for us Europeans, and put your finger on 14th frets, and in a parallel motion put it on the 8th fret nickel frets area. And if you can feel it, sorry, if you can feel a big emptiness, that means you need to put your truss rod thing and go to the lower string for creating a tension, filling the emptiness. But if feelers gauge is not going in, there's a fraction, it means that you need to release it, meaning you need to go to the higher strings, you need to push it. And this is the first part. Then you have to retune again. Then the second step is checking the action. You need to check the action by using a ruler like this. You can buy it on anywhere. Again, it's action ruler. You can also search for string action ruler, and you will check on the 12th fret. It doesn't matter if your guitar is 22, 24, 27 or 30 fret, do it on the 12th fret. Just kind of convention, I can say. And you will check again, for us European metric system guys, I am gonna check with millimeter. It has to be 1 to 1.5 millimeter for the higher string and 1.5 to 2 for the lower string. You also need to make sure that it's not buzzing. If it creates buzz, you can go higher than that, and you gotta make sure that you are playing well. This is 20 fret radius, 20 inch fret radius, so that's why I didn't do any of the math for the other strings. But if you have 12 or 14 inch radius, then what you need to do is to create an arc motion for the other strings. You can just increase just a little bit and it's gonna be fine. No buzz and you're comfortable is enough for this. And after that, check the intonation, hit the open string, then hit the 12th fret, and make sure that there's not much difference, maximum 3 cents. If your 12th fret is minus compared to open string, you need to do clockwise motion. If it's sharper, then you need to release it by going counterclockwise. And after that, you're just gonna play it, and as you already heard it, it's fine. it works well. So I'm actually ready to play some Epica. Not on this live stream because I have to remember the song, but still. That's it. It was a 1 hour and 49 minutes live stream. Kind of a big one, but if I don't explain this stuff, it takes about, I don't know, 15-20. If I'm not changing the string sets, if it's the exact same gauge, exact same tuning as before, like I do it with the periphery covers, then it takes probably 5-10 minutes just to changing the strings. But other than that, you have to set everything from the beginning. And for something like that, you need a little bit more time, like 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. Just depends on the guitar, what you're doing. Is it Floyd Rose? If it's Floyd Rose, it's a bigger issue, and so on. In our case, it's not Floyd Rose, it's not a floating bridge, so it's actually more than fine for us to do it in maximum 30 minutes. But of course, the live stream was almost 2 hours, but it's just for the explaining sake. So I hope you enjoyed this live stream. I will put the markers because I know that in the restringing part we wasted a lot of time, and this is not a locking tuner, so that's why it took a lot of time. And I'm gonna put the markers on a video so you can watch it as you like. And while you're here, if you're a new person, I'm Yasin. I do gent and prog metal. At the same time, I'm also doing lo-fi stuff when I have the time and intention. And if you wanna support this channel, first of all, you can subscribe. Then you can turn the notification bell, and you can check the other videos. I have a lot of covers and stuff. And after that, the most important one, if you want to really support this channel, you can check my merch. You can check what I do, my own music. So I'm putting stuff out there, so if you want to be a part of it, if you want to listen to it, please just check my stuff out. And we actually have one comment from, again, BC Reach 5821. Thanks for checking the live stream from the beginning, which is literally 2 hours. It's a lot. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm gonna read the comment. 19 minutes is what it takes me to do a total setup. That's for the bass, okay? It's if it's a 5-string, a little longer. That is everything that you covered here. The frets cleaning and intonation. Yeah, everything is included. Yeah, imagine this: if you are using your bass in the standard tuning, and you don't have to do any of this because you're not going to change your tuning, and you're going to put the exact same strings, the same company, the same brand, the same model. For example, if it's Elixir OptiWeb, you're going to use again another OptiWeb with the same gauge stuff and in the same tuning. Then you don't have to do most of the setup, because if you do it, it means that there's something happened wrong with your wiring, or maybe the string quality changed. It happened to me once. It didn't do the intonation well. I had to change the string because the string was flowed. That's a very bad thing for them, of course. It's Elixir's mistake. But if everything is the same and you're just changing the string, you don't have to do the full setup, and it's literally less and less and less time. And if it's locking tuners, I'm not quite sure if bass has locking tuners, if it's possible. If it's possible, it's good, because it takes a lot of time to do this wiring and restringing. If it's locking tuners, you literally save 20-30 minutes depending on your how many strings do you have, as you mentioned. It's kind of an issue to do it, but yeah, if I'm not mistaken, bass strings require less frequently changes. If that's your case, if you are changing your bass strings every 5, 6, 7 months, I think that's fine. But if you have to do this 90 minutes work every single month, it's kind of course, time consuming and not ideal, I think. But on this one, I'm changing my strings every 2 months because I have 5 guitars. 1, 2, 3. No, I have 4 guitars. I'm not using the one that I earned. No, I won. I won that guitar, but it's a Strat that in a beginner level, so I'm not doing anything. So that's about it. Yeah, I'm doing normally every 2 months, but if there's a cover that I have to do, I don't know. I played a 6-string Holcomb drop C, and I have another cover with that guitar on a different tuning, then of course I have to do it again with different strings. I have to change the strings because these strings have a very small amount of life on them. Even if it's Elixir, if it's gonna last 2 months, it doesn't get any rusty in 2 months, but it's losing its brightness and quality. So after the cover, after the practice, I have to restring it. Another comment. A few basses use locking tuners. The post hole locking holds the strings in place pretty solidly, and strings last a bit longer, 3 months or 3 months to 2 years, damn, depending on the playing and frequency. I think I'm not quite sure. I don't have too many bassist friends. Don't get me wrong, please, but 2 years looks like it's a lot. I think it's a bit much. And if I had a bass, I actually have. Maybe I should show it. But I'm not changing the tuning for that changing the string for that for a long time. I had this 4-string Harley Benton. I think it's kind of P-bass stuff. And one that I will the one that I will use on my Epica cover. High likely, maybe I'm not gonna use it, maybe I'm just gonna program it. This 5-string thing, I think this is from the exact copy of Music Man, maybe a Stingray. This is again Harley Benton, but I didn't change the tunings for this one since I got it basically. So it's nice. I'm playing it like a guitar, so you will understand me. I hope. So I'm back. So the thing is, I just put the guitar. If you have any other comment or question, I would gladly answer it. So the thing is, yeah, I really don't know the basses at all, but I know guitars well, and I learned this setup stuff from the hard way. In Turkey it was very expensive to change these things and do a setup with a luthier, and that's why I learned it to do it myself. And I think luthiers don't care about changing these strings and doing setups. It's kind of an easy money for them, but it's quite boring process, and I think everyone should learn to set up their guitars, and luthiers should, make real deal guitars and basses. That's what I think. That's all in my case. I am going to wait for 1 more minute. If you have any comment, please, ask your question, say what you want to say. Otherwise, I think 2 hours was more than enough. Thank you so much for checking live stream. Special thanks to BC Rich 581 because from the first minute BC Rich 581 was here from the beginning, so thank you so much. It's kind of appreciated. So yeah, 1 more minute for anyone to ask a question about guitar setup, changing strings, tunings, about guitars, or whatever you can think of. I am going to do more streams, probably the next guitar I'm going to set up will be my Custom 24, because it requires a real deal change. The strings are just a little bit old, like 2 months, and it probably I'm gonna use it in the next cover. So, and I am doing another live stream for the Strandberg as well, because I know floating bridge is a big problem for a lot of people, and maybe someone could, you know, get the benefit of me changing this stuff. It's kind of an interesting process to set up floating guitars. It's an extra work. It's mostly an extra work on doing the leveling plus the tuning. So yeah, it's not a big deal in my case because I know how to do it. Yeah, I'm putting my guitar. I couldn't put my guitar, so I have to put it here. Okay, so yeah, I sit again, and this time, since there are no comments, I'm literally closing it. So I'm going to put markers for each part of the process, and I hope you like. I hope you like this live stream. I know it's not visually the best one, but at the same time, I gave all the necessary information for you to set up your guitar instead of going to a luthier and literally begging to the luthier to do it under a couple of hours, because I know that you don't want to leave your guitar to someone else. I don't like it. So unless there's a big problem, and if you do it, you will literally save a lot of bucks, and you can buy a lot of strings and do the setup in a better way. And since you're going to be aware what you like, because if luthier does the setup, is gonna say, are you gonna play, you know, lead guitars, or you're kind of a rhythm player, what kind of action do you like, and so on. And you probably don't know the answer unless you do your own setup. And even if you do it, probably you're not going to give the exact answers, and you want to try it yourself after the setup. And probably it's not an ideal solution. And again, in my opinion, everyone should know how to set up their guitars, change their strings. You have to command your instrument, and you have to know what you like well, including bassists. And I honestly believe that luthiers should really do the hard repairs, modifications, and most importantly the guitars and basses and violins that we are actually playing, because that's their actually mastery. So yeah, thank you so much. If anyone, you know, if you guys don't stop me, probably I will still talk. I'm just gonna talk forever because I wasn't doing this live stream stuff for, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3. So yeah, that's why I have a lot to say about these things. So I'm gonna get my keyboard to stop this, and I wish you all a nice week ahead. And please try to set up your guitar after this video, and if there's any problem, you can put it in the comment section and I can answer to your question, and maybe I can refer a really nice videos of luthiers and companies like PRS and Strandberg. They are doing a really good job of putting a really nice video about how to do certain stuff. It's again the chair. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Have a nice week, and see you soon in the next live stream or video. Ciao.